Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another vlog. I'm Belmar for those that don't know me. We just touched down in beautiful Lyon, France, here to hang out and mastermind with some of my buddies, some of my business partners, and a lot of business savants that I've had the privilege of connecting with. And I wanted to bring you with me. I wanted you to have part of the conversation. I wanted you to sit at the table and listen in and tune in to what it means to develop a network that is powerful, to be able to unlock data sets and to be able to find information that will propel you to the next level. This vlog will change your life. It's about to be a good one. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started.
It's very interesting because I often get the question, hey, Mr. Belmar, how much can you squat? How much can you bench? How much? My friend, my question to you is, how much can you stretch? A flexible body equates to a flexible mind, equates to more money in my bank account.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Time to execute. What would you do, ladies and gentlemen, if you couldn't fail? What would you do if you were in a situation where your mind couldn't comprehend an outcome in which you lost? Who would you become? What would you do? What type of person would be bred from that willpower and that self-belief and that confidence? Because it all starts here. The Bible says it, as a man thinketh, so is he. So what do you say about yourself? Who are you? How do you speak to who you are and the goals and the ambitions that you have in your life? You know what I mean? So when you see the goals and ambitions and dreams and aspirations that you have, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a multimillionaire. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be healthy and have a nice home and take care of your family. But the system will tell you, you have to work, you have to be an employee. When you realize that the way to make money, the way to liberate yourself isn't through the ways of the system. It's not through a 9-to-5. It's through self-development. It's through the understanding of the game. It's through understanding how the system works and understanding how to exploit the system to your advantage, because there's loopholes that were created intentionally by people that created the rules of the system that you abide by. So ladies and gentlemen, if failure was not an option and you couldn't fail and money wasn't an obstacle and money wasn't real, what would you do? Who would you become? What would be bred out of that desire for greatness? I don't know about you, but in my book, in my opinion, I can't lose, because losing is something that is designed for people that quit and for people that fail. I don't fail. I learn. I reevaluate. I analyze. I cross-examine. I fine-tune. I refine my craft. Maybe not now in my mid-20s, but in my 40s, in my 50s, in my 60s, in my 70s, in my 80s, in my 100s, I will have refined my craft, because it's a process of self-development. So if you couldn't fail because failure is not an option, because failure isn't real, who would you become? Who would you be? Who's holding you back? Who's telling you you can't? You? Or is it the programming inside of you? Maybe it ain't you. So ladies and gentlemen, get woke. Get positive. The world is yours for the taking. It's only for the looks, not for the taste. Too much high fructose corn syrup up in this bitch. What up, homie? Switzerland, baby.
Switzerland, maybe. I was actually thinking about it on the way here, and I think I've been to the most countries with you than anyone else.
100%, bro.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Good to have
you, bro. Who kind of ultimately profits? If the Fed isn't loyal to, like, let's say the U.S., as most people...
Who owns the Fed? The Fed is owned by multinational banks. Those multinational banks own equity inside the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve has multiple branches. You have the New York Fed, you have the Atlanta Fed, you have different Feds. They all come together. They all manage their own liquidity, their own districts, their own banks, whatever. The thing is, when people think banking, they only think JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo. Dude, there's hundreds of banks. Correct. So what you're seeing right now is just the bigger banks swallowing and absorbing the small guys. So where does the money actually go? It goes back to the banks, right? Because we live in a financial ecosystem. In this ecosystem, if the money is owned by the bank and the Federal Reserve, Reserve and the different central banks, then they control the game because they control the money. If you look at the rules on the Monopoly board, in Monopoly, whether you've played the game or not, you should read the rules like an intelligent person and understand that there's clues. It says that if the bank runs out of money, right? And you remember when you play Monopoly and you pull out the money, and eventually the bank can run out of money.
Sure.
But the rules say that the bank can never run out of money because you can just get out a piece of paper and write dollar signs on it that equate to money. And now you can continue playing up until a default hits and the bank can take your liquidity and put it back into their system.
This is the rules I want to write.
So when people tell me that the game isn't rigged, that shit is safe, that you gotta be working 24/7 to hustle to make money, motherfuckers, you don't know shit, bro. Money's printed out of thin air. Lords of easy money.
It didn't blow my mind because I hadn't already heard it before. But what blew my mind in the book of Lords of Easy Money is when he described basically how the Fed creates money and buys the bonds from the primary lenders. Yeah. And it wasn't because I didn't know the concept, because it was just reading and writing and really imagining how simple they're creating money versus how everyone else is trying to create money out here. That will blow your fucking mind and make you realize whatever you're doing on this end of the scale, think about the output ratio here versus the output ratio here. Someone has this role and you have this role. It's your job to figure out how
you can get as far from the pendulum of peasant to king without disturbing the powers that be. So I feel you, bro. Somebody clicks 2 buttons and they have $100 billion in liquidity. Another motherfucker slaves away all of his life force.
Yes.
Doesn't do shit. Bro, come on, get woke.
Let's get it. Hop off a 16 passenger. This a G5. No, this not a challenge.
加点胸骨絡まつ真珠俺にて大詰め締めの段それ
In this world, in this matrix, certain individuals with willpower, discipline, hard work, and acquired data sets have been able to unlock themselves, become anomalies, glitches per se. Glitch in the matrix.
As you guys know, we do our morning walks. As we're walking here in Lake Geneva, I spot quite an interesting building known as Palais Wilson. Palais Wilson named after President Woodrow Wilson, who was the guy that passed the Federal Reserve Act in 1913 that privatized money, and money no longer became of the people as a means of exchange, but money became debt. And it became debt on a fractional reserve basis. But in 1913, what happened was that the dollar, because of constitutional rights, was still backed by gold. But what happened with fractional reserve banking is they started fractionalizing the gold reserves and they started printing the receipts for that gold in multiples. So what happened? The British came and the French came and they started redeeming the paper for gold up until the point where there was no gold left and there was paper. At that point, basically we had to go off the gold standard. But winding it back to 1913 with Woodrow Wilson, he did something quite interesting. What he did was build an entire philosophy behind the Constitution of the United States. And that philosophy was a very simple one, that the Constitution operated under Darwinian theory, which basically meant that the Constitution of the United States operated as a living organism, which meant what? It needed to adapt and evolve with the times. So he did not believe that people had natural rights, that they had God-given rights, but that their government rights were given to them by the times, and that their governments changed based off of what was good for the people. So it's really interesting because Woodrow Wilson was probably one of the worst presidents in American history, and it's funny that he is commemorated in what is now known as the headquarters of the High Commissioner of Human Rights of the United Nations, previously known as the League of Nations, which Woodrow Wilson was one of the key figures to help establish. Therefore, obviously we're here in Switzerland, in the globalist capital of the world, and we have honoring the guy that made sure that America got fucked. Quite interesting. That's kind of what we see when we glitch through the matrix, get some data sets, and yeah, good walk.
I did some wrong, but I'm always right. Said I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night.
So here's the thing about my people, ladies and gentlemen. You find them glitching in real time, spawning in different places of the Matrix. So I have one of my boys here, Colin. And Colin became a Bitcoin millionaire as well. over the last bull run. Came from nothing. Should read a book. He has a really good book. Biohacking? Of course, bro. Looking good, bro. Ready for a cold one. Good to see you here in Geneva.
Let's get it.
When we are
Alright, when you do easy shit, life gets fucking hard. When you do hard shit, life gets easy, right? Levi?
Geneva, baby.
My friend, I realized that perhaps winning in terms of a formula isn't so complicated. Perhaps all it takes, all it requires is positive energy input. And the more positive energy input and the healthier you are, the more likely you are to thrive. Look at the people over there. They're outside eating lunch. Outside. It's very interesting because in America, every 9-to-5 job I had, every single time there was a lunch break, it was inside a cubicle with LED lights and people were always on their phone. Sometimes in life, it's as simple as just putting yourself in positive environments. So ditch the cubicle matrix when it comes to eating your lunch, go outside, enjoy some vitamin D, and bring a friend, and you are most likely to thrive.
We're trying it all, bro. We're trying it all.
So like tomahawk, the obrak,
Yeah.
or this one, and let's go for the T-bone.
Perfect.
I got
Very
you.
little pink. Thanks, G.
Got
Appreciate
you.
you, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks, chef.
Thank you.
All right, let's do this. Time to eat. Thank you.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. C'est payé, balayé, oublié. Je me fous du passé.
All they're doing all day long is just trying to take your energy, bro. Just take
That's all it is, energy vampires, bro. Because everything is measured by energy. You are a human resource. It's literally a resource. You're the product. Everything around you is the rich people selling to the product with the labor of the product. Like they are literally alchemizing wealth out of thin air by deceiving people. It's unbelievable, bro. The level of mastery it's centuries and centuries of generational knowledge that's passed down. Like,
so far.
Imagine what they know.
Dude, literally, like
These conversations aren't even.
I feel like I'm
touching
picking
the
up breadcrumbs, bro. And the breadcrumbs are just the craziest shit I've ever heard.
The breadcrumbs are what are deposited for us. Like the only reason we know what we know is because it's
You can light the spark in anything, and I could build mechanisms to just keep it going. And that's all we did. Like, dude, I'll tell you, for NGL, we built the company with $5,000. We did 12 million in the first 6 months, and we spent $5,000 just because we had to initiate the spark. The second the spark hit, we knew that the growth levers we had in place and all the variable reward ratios and the feedback loops, it was perfect. So it was just going to continue and just scale. And we scaled to 75 million users, no spend. So it's like you light the spark with your brand, with what you can do, and then I can build things that just naturally scale and naturally grow. And then you have it done.
24 hours in Geneva, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. If you've made it this far in the video and you haven't liked, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends and your family what we're all about. And you know what? That's what it's all about. It's about pursuing life. It's about experiencing life. It's about elevating, and it's about pursuing your fullest potential. That's why we jet set through the world. That's why we move across the map. That's why now we're gonna head to Zermatt and shred through the matrix, bro. We're gonna put together all these millionaires in one room, all these buddies of mine, and together all our minds will form a mastermind, and we'll leave healthier, wealthier, more developed with memories, because that's what it's all about. That's what this lifestyle is all about, this Wi-Fi money, this freedom lifestyle that we like to experience. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. I'll see you guys on the mountains.
New adventure shredding the mountains of Vermont.